We now move to motion number 9 on the agenda, brilliantly titled, brilliantly written, Poverty Kills, Independence is a Lifesaver, to be proposed by Alan Peachy, seconded by Leanne Turbot, Mary Mackay and Jacqueline Kelty. First of all, Alan, welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Conference. The Scottish Parliament has been good for Scotland. It has made a lot of radical changes over the years, but particularly during the Alex Salmond years. We saw tuition fees abolished, free prescriptions introduced, he removed tolls on bridges and properly funded local government to allow them to freeze the council tax for the duration of his leadership. Those are only some of the benefits that we received. However, due to being shackled to this union, he had to turn his attention to the protection of the most vulnerable, from the draconian cuts brought in by Westminster, such as the bedroom tax. The Scottish Government did not have the powers to abolish the tax, so Alex mitigated its impact so no one in Scotland would suffer from it. Unfortunately, the current First Minister doesn't seem to have the same political will or the political backbone to safeguard our vulnerable citizens, as he is refusing to mitigate the new attacks on our vulnerable, such as the rape clause 2-child cap. We have children in hospitals in Scotland just now with rickets and malnutrition. This First Minister instead wastes our money on fighting Westminster over dangerous gender ideology. Its time has changed to fit in with the people of Scotland and support our vulnerable. That brings me on to the claim from the Unionists that Scotland is too poor to be independent and look after our citizens. Because that charitable organisation, Westminster, run by the angelic Tories, subsidise us poor wee Scots. Aye, right, they wouldn't even subsidise a spare bedroom, never mind the entire country. From the very first day of this union, Scotland has been paying the debts of England. It is in fact part of the treaty itself. Under Article 15 of the Treaty of Union, it states Scotland shall be liable for the debts of England. Even coming up to modern times, the budget the Tories passed to address the disastrous trust budget put a windfall tax on our oil and gas industry. They raised £80 billion extra. Scotland will receive just over £1 billion. Yet again, we were and used as a Westminster cash cow. Now I'm going to get the Unionists a bit excited, because I'm going to admit that something that they have said is actually true. An independent Scotland will make cuts, but it won't be cuts that they say. An independent Scotland will end the funding of the monarchy. We will end the funding of the House of Commons, House of Lords. We will stop paying the debts of England. We will no longer fund illegal wars, and we will end the funding of nuclear weapons on our seas and our land.
Yep.
Scotland's resources and wealth will be used to benefit and improve the lives of all citizens of Scotland and make poverty history in our land. Jimmy Reid once said, "We are all free to go into a car showroom and buy an expensive car, but only some of us have the ability and opportunity to do so." Freedom is not just about independence, it's about giving all our citizens the same opportunity in life. We must therefore ensure our citizens' rights are protected in the written constitution, to ensure no political party can infringe on our real freedoms. And the first line of that constitution must say, "The people of Scotland are sovereign." Conference. Poverty is one of the biggest shames of this union. We have people struggling to eat and heat, while our supermarkets and energy companies make large profits. We have bankers being handed massive bonuses for failure, while our frontline service staff are given below inflation wage increases. Poverty is not natural. It is not a way of life. It is a political choice. And they are able to make these political choices because those it affects are either not registered to vote or just don't vote, so they are no longer a threat to the political elite. The vote can be a powerful weapon if used properly, and that is when you vote for a candidate who is best qualified for the job and not the colour of rosette they are wearing. We must elect politicians who have the political will and the backbone to make the changes we need, and that political will must be to make independence of Scotland a priority, so we have the powers to end inequality and end the poverty of our nation. Scotland's future is all within Scotland's hands. Let's not let it slip through our fingers again. The SNP have made it clear they are not willing to unite the parties. So let's unite Scotland's Yes movement behind Alba Together we will take our nation to independence and lift our citizens from poverty and give them back the hope that they have lost so many years ago. Conference, I proudly move this motion.
Great stuff, Alan. I call Leanne Turbot to second the motion to be followed by Jacqueline Kelty. Leanne.
I'm going to keep this short, but it's not sweet. I always try to make people see the human side of poverty, the human cost of poverty, and the worst part of that for me is losing people. We all see the facts and the figures, the suicide rates, the drug deaths, the alcohol deaths. We see the numbers rise and we watch the trends. But to me, I see the faces behind the numbers. I see their families and I remember their names. Stephen, age 17, suicide. Barry, age 19, suicide. Kathleen, age 46, overdose. Ivan, age 25, suicide. Sean, age 19, overdose. Ian, age 42, suicide. John, age 54, alcohol addiction. Ross, age 20, overdose. Lee, age 42, suicide. Jason, age 32, overdose. Dawn was in her 20s, suicide. Stephen, age 46, alcohol addiction. Nigel, age 40, overdose. Maureen, age 39, suicide. Demi, age 21, overdose. Mo, age around 25, suicide. Paul was in his 40s when he overdosed. That's not them all either. My pal and I were in tears by then and we had to stop listing them all. And this doesn't include the murders, the horrific, pointless, awful murders. And for every death here, there's a family left behind. Brothers, sisters, mums, dads, and the bairns. And the grief and the trauma continues down the line to the next generation and the next. A community that's full of trauma and anxiety and depression, and the cycle continues. Whatever we can do to alleviate some of the stress is a bonus, but without independence, we cannot start to eradicate it. Alba can eradicate it. Alba can get us our independence, and they have the people in it to start to eradicate poverty. Our first and foremost priority must always be independence. Then we have the work to do. I urge you to support this motion. Thank you.